Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Classroom of the Elite Season 3 episode number 10 reaction. Okay, the previous episode, quite a few number of things happened. First of all, we get to meet a new character. I think his name was, I don't remember, it was something Tsukishiro or something like that. And he's supposed to be the new chairman who will be replacing Sakanagi's dad. And he comes and just trips Sakanagi, grabs Ayano Koji by his collar and like literally threatens them. And he's like, "Oh, you kids have fun up until I come. I'll be coming in April, so like do whatever you want to up until that time." And just leaves, giving us like a warning. So yeah, and that is why Sakanagi and Ayano Koji have decided, both of them, to do their little like thing, the little exam thing, the special test that they want to like compete against. And so that we'll be having that now. So we get to know the rules of the special exam. Ayano Koji becomes the leader, and obviously he has the immunity point, so he won't really be expelled. All the other leaders also have immunity points, so this one, no one really will be expelled. And they make sure that Sakanagi and Ayano Koji goes against each other. We also have the Ayano Koji, like the whole birthday thing where he gives a birthday gift to Kei, and that happened. And we had that conversation with Manabu as well about Horikita, as to how Horikita is kind of emulating Manabu, that whole thing. And then in the end, we get to know what Ayano Koji and Sakanagi will be competing against each other. Chess. So that's where it ended. Let's see what happens today. This is episode number 10. Let us begin. Yeah, so I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. First cause of absurd conclusions I ascribe to the want of method. Dream? What? Oh, you boy, Hirata. Friends will be protected. Yep, I knew he has something in his past that probably like bothers him. Hmm. Yeah, but Wait, what? Hmm. Class A. Okay. Spy? Yes, I was going to say spy. Hmm. But I doubt he will betray their class. I was going to say he's not a Yamauchi. Like compensation. If you make it. But I don't see him doing something like, okay, I feel like this is a bad idea. Yeah, and he's literally going to betray his class for that. Like, that's true as well. But is it really worth it? Yeah. It's not that easy. It's not gonna work that flawlessly. Come on, no. I don't like this plan at all. This is just such a um no. I doubt he will. Yeah, there you go. But I doubt he'll betray his class for that. 5 Gen. Wait, he's just gonna. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay, another thing. Why? Mental math. Hmm. I see. Okay, that makes sense. One or not other. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Well, at least we got a little bit of help. He's choosing the 100, 1800. Special lunch set. Um. What the? Oh. Oh, he probably. He was like, I was in the middle of like eating food. Oh boy. Another method. Hmm. Okay, I'll need to read all of this later. Hmm. And Anakoji will help her. Hmm. Okay, that's a good plan. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Hirata. Will you be participant? Yeah, he will need to participate. Bro, he's digging himself a deeper hole. Like, Oh, shut up about Yama. Oh, good God. He's still. Wow, what a pleasant personality you have. This guy's. Oh! Koinji's here. Uh, He's like. The way he's standing. Bruh. Oh, God. Yeah? You playing that card? Okay, whatever. No, he has. His attitude is problematic. You're the boy. What, are you going to attack him? Oh, you know who you're trying to fight? Yeah, this is the almighty Koenji. he was he was deliberately like provoking him. I feel like, like he was like, yeah, let me provoke him and let him attack me. Then I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Wait, did he like break his arm or something? Bro. Oh my God. Good God. Yeah, what are you? Like some. Oh my God. He thinks he's some kind of prince from some fairy tale. Oh boy. Oh my God. Good God. Oh boy. Hirata boy. Stop acting like a. Exactly. Stop acting like a victim. I do wonder what his past is. Like, I'm talking about Hirata. What exactly happened that, you know, he's acting like this? Oh, Anakoji was there. Hmm. Oh, who's this? Anakoji? Yep, I know that silhouette. Right. Yeah, what is your deal? Like, what? Why? Why are you acting like this? Exactly. Well, damn. The way he said that. He's like, oh, you'll tell me. Okay, he's going to tell us. Alright, let's see. Oh, okay, I see. Let's see where this is going. Hmm. He, yeah, I was going to say he probably did something. Okay. Ah, so he blames himself obviously for not taking action. Okay, I'll talk about this in the discussion section. Like, Yeah, like I can see why he acted like that, but bystanders share the guilt. Oh, it continued. The bullying continued. It probably is transferred to someone else. Yep. Well, that's what bullies do. Hmm. And everyone else. Wait, what? Oh my god, that is even worse. Hmm. Exactly. Okay. Oh. So he became the bully. So the bullying stopped? Okay. Both sides. Destroyed the class. Oh, that's why he has this always has this fake smile in front of everybody nowadays. Yamauchi deserved it. Like just like he. Oh, come on, man! Like at least try to understand the situation. Like you cannot make everybody happy at the same time. It is his own fault. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that isn't true. Oh my god. Um. Right. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he has a point. I can understand what he's saying, but ooh, interesting. I can see what Anakin is trying to do here. You believe it? Yeah, like he's like, if you want to save everyone, you have to take that commitment. You can't half-ass it. Hmm. You were a person of character whom you are classmates. Shall help us to boast about wanting to do them. Bruh. Yeah. Well, he's not wrong. In a way, he is actually correct. Like, I'll talk about this later. I can understand what Ayanoko is trying to say here. Yeah, like he's like, you cannot half-ass it. Yeah. Don't lash out like you know. Like he's telling him to be like Horikita. Hmm. Yeah. No, he just said that there will be people with you if you do it like this. Hmm. Exactly. He never did that up until now. Hmm. Safely walk in front of them. Yeah, he'll now be okay, or at least try to be better. Let's see. Oh, he's here. First of all, you have to apologize to her and apologize to the class as well. Horikita as well. There you go. And there you go to the class, like I said, and then Horikita finally. Well, a little bit of. There you go. He's going to apologize to her as well. Yeah, yeah. It was one correct option. Well, I got enlightened. Okay. She's like, the hell? What is happening? Like, oh, they're practicing. Okay. Hmm. No one can beat me when I'm not holding. Experience. What the? Ayo. That's Oh, here we go. Wait. Okay. Hmm. Okay. That is. Oh, oh. Meeting spot. Oh no, what's happening? Oh my god, what? Ruben is here? Yeah, wait. Is is it the Wait, didn't he come to the... Oh, oh, he's absent. I see. So he is the captain, but okay. Right. Let us go. The first exam, I think. Yeah. All right, let's go. And that was today's episode. All right, that was a good episode. First of all, we got to know what is up with Hirata. You know, what's bothering him up until now, and why is he acting like this? We got to know, and it's an interesting like situation. So basically, his situation is that he was a bystander and it didn't really help someone who was getting bullied, and after he tried to take his life and now he's in coma, he realized that, oh, it didn't end there, it just transferred to someone else. Other people are bullying, like, like the same people are bullying others. So he's like, all right, you know what, like, one thing he can do here is that he has to be a bigger bully, and he decided to be that bully. But then being that bully brought another problem where everyone literally became like robots. They barely talked to each other. It completely destroyed a whole class, which is why, he in this school decided to take a completely different approach. So he tried to be the bystander, didn't work. He tried to be the bully, it didn't work. So he's like, now I'll be the good type of person, the good person, the good leader. I will make a class in such a way, I'll lead a class in such a way that everyone will have a place. No one will be bullied, no one will gang up on anyone, something like that. Now we got to see this in season 1 as well. Whenever some kind of a situation pops up where there is a chance of someone like isolating someone or someone getting expelled, he always tries his best to somehow find a way to try to help everyone out, and like something like that he tries to do. And even if it's like the worst person or the best person, it doesn't matter. He's more like, like he doesn't care about what type of person that person is. If he has done something bad, good, it doesn't matter. He wants to help everyone. But this whole thing brings a new problem. What is going to happen if within one of those people that you're trying to protect, a person is there that is causing harm to your group? If such a like an element gets introduced, what do you do then? You want to save that person, help that person out, but at the same time that person is making problems for you, and there is a possibility if you cut that part out that everything will be okay. But the way he looks at it, he's like, no, I don't want to cut any part out of it. Like it's kind of like an apple, like like a rotting apple. The rot starts from one side, and if you let it be, it'll literally make like rot the whole thing little by little, or it'll transfer to the other apple. If if there's a rotten thing, you put it alongside some fresh things, it literally transfers, it like rots the other ones as well. So in that type of a situation, what you do is like cut out that part. You cut out that part so that the other part remains fresh. He doesn't want to cut out that part, but at the same time he doesn't want the whole apple to rot as well. Like he literally wants everything. Like he doesn't want to sacrifice anyone, but at the same time the person that they're supposed to sacrifice, if they're making a problem for your own group, if they remain in the group, they'll keep making problem for you. So you have to take him out. So he's someone like that, and obviously that is unrealistic. This way of like, and that is why, like, whoever's the leader, they take the reins of that situation and dirty their own hands to take that rotten part out so that everything else can work smoothly. And now here's the thing. If he, like, when Horikita, like, stood up and decided to take that part, if he just backed out, it would have been fine. That is what Anakoji is saying. Like, if he tried to back out at that point, like when he realized that, oh, there's nothing I can do, I will have to take someone out of it, will have to expel someone, but I don't want to expel anyone, so I don't know what exactly to do, then Horikita stood up, and Horikita decided to take that, like, step and dirty her own hands by deciding to cut off Yamauchi. He cannot accept that as well. That is where the problem begins. This is where the problem begins. If he just let it go, everything would have been fine. But this is where the problem begins, where he's now like, oh no, Horikita, you cannot do that. And then he started lashing out at everyone. He started like blaming Horikita. He said that, oh, then like I'll vote for you, this and that. That whole mess started happening. This is where the problem began, and this is what Ayano talks about today with him. So I can understand his situation. Obviously, he knows that it's kind of unrealistic that you can save everyone at the same time. He wanted to save Yamauchi, but he knew that Yamauchi is being a problem, and even if he wasn't being a problem, they had to expel someone. So what to do in that type of situation? So he's like, I don't know what to do, and that is why, because of his own inability and the fact that he doesn't want something like that expulsion that happened to happen, he lashed out at Horikita, even though he himself didn't really have a better option. I do know someone mentioned it, that in the light novel, this part has been cut out from the anime, which is extremely weird. They do it like multiple times. They cut off so many things from the anime, which is just so baffling in my opinion. They cut out a part where, as someone mentioned, that he decided to nominate himself to get voted out, or something like that he did. That kind of makes it better, but at the same time, it doesn't really solve the problem. He decided to be the sacrifice himself to save someone else. But that didn't really happen because, Yamauchi got the vote and he got voted out. That didn't really, did nothing. But I understand what Ayano was trying to do today. So Ayano logic is that when he's like, oh, I cannot do anything, at that point of time, what should I have done? Ayano is like, the fact that Yamauchi got voted out, it is your fault. Now, obviously, when you hear it for the first time, you'll be like, wait, what are you saying, Ayano? You're kicking someone when he's fallen down. That's literally what you're doing. But if you think about it, Ayano logic kind of makes sense. He said it in a weird way. I don't think that's what he meant. What he meant here actually was, as he explains, you can understand little by little what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that, yeah, it is your fault, because if you think about it, just look at Ichinose's group. Ichinose's group was able to, Ichinose was able to, literally, bring everyone, not, expel anyone. She was able to do that. And if you remember, she had, she would have probably, if Ayano didn't help her with that whole thing, she probably would have went out with Nagumo. And if you think about it like that, at the end of the day, she would have protected the class either way. Either if Ayano didn't help her, she would have probably went out with him and somehow gathered that point to save them. That is what Ayano is saying. Ayano is like, you cannot half-ass anything. When you say that, oh, I couldn't do anything at that point of time, the fact that you want to save everyone, if you have that determination, you should look through it up until the end, whatever happens, Now you can say that, oh, doing something so drastic, maybe Hirata, cannot do that. Or maybe, it's difficult to do something so drastic to, save someone, and, you might have to sacrifice a lot of things from yourself, which Ichinose was ready to do. If you don't have that courage or that capability to do that, it's fine. Nobody's blaming you. You back out then. Let Horikita do what he was doing. But what Hirata did was that he didn't, he wanted to save everyone, didn't have, didn't really do everything to, save him. He could have, as Ayano said, he could have done a lot of other things. But since he didn't do that, when Horikita decided to take, take up the, the leadership role at that point of time and decided to expel Yamauchi, he started going against her. So that is wrong. So here's what Ayano is saying. Ayano is like, okay, you want to save him? You're free to do so. Then, you're saying that you couldn't do anything. There was no point, chance that you could have saved him. Look at Ichinose. She somehow was able to do it, and she was ready to sacrifice her own self to save everyone. Now, if you're not able to do that, then it's fine. You just back out. But you didn't do that as well. You decided to go against Horikita, who was trying to do something. Now that is Horikita's way of doing it. If you find a problem in that, then you do your best to save him, but you didn't do that as well, so you're not in a position to say stuff like this. And I can understand what Anakoji is saying, and that is why Anakoji is like, you're the one who let him, expel, who weren't able to. You're the one who was at fault for, him getting expelled. And yeah, like I said, it's a weird way he kind of said that, but I can understand what Anakoji's point is here. What he's trying to say. Like he's trying to say is you do your best. If it doesn't work out, and you have to back out from it, do it. Don't try to lash out at other people who are trying to take that step for you. Like Horikita's way of doing it was like cutting off what's his name, Yamauchi. Now if you have a problem with that, you do your best to stop that from happening. You cannot just lash out at her while she's trying to do something while you're not. You're not doing anything, you're just lashing out. That's not a way to do it. And as Hirata says in the end, if you in the ending section where he apologizes to Horikita, he says that I still think that you're wrong, but at the same time, I was wrong in lashing out at you. I do understand that even though I have a problem with the way you did it, it was still a viable option. And you took that viable option to save the class. It is still one option. It's just that I have a problem with that option, but what you did was also an option. So it is wrong of me to lash out at that when I myself wasn't able to do anything. That's what he said, and that is exactly what Anakoji was trying to say here. And I also agree. And they kind of and Hirata was able to understand that. So from here onwards, if he has some kind of a problem with any kind of thing, as Anakoji says, where's that part? He kind of says here in the end. Here we go. This part. I'm going to read this section. Here we go. Hesitation on your part now will lead to more and more your classmates being lost. Then he says, that's why you need to keep looking forward and walking to the very end. If you do that, here we go, when it is all over, you will find many students standing right behind you. And he says that, do I really have to keep the entire burden and keep walking? And Anakoji says, okay, no, where am I supposed to show? No, not this part. Where is that part where he says that? Okay, rely on anyone you want to. No, not this part. There's a particular section. This is not the section which I was trying to say. Okay, there was a particular section when Anakoji says something like, even if you fail in the end, I think he says something like keep moving forward or something like that. Where is that part? Okay, okay, I'm going to read this part later. I'm not really finding that section, but that is what I was trying to say here. Like what Anakoji says, that keep moving, if you want to save someone, do it, and give your best, do everything. At the end, if you see that it still didn't work out, somehow you failed, then then move on from it. Don't latch on to it and try to lash out at others because of that. Because of something like that he says. I think I cannot really find that part here, but he says something like this, which is exactly what that is exactly true. That's literally yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that was the thing. And in the end, Hirata realized that you know what, I was being immature, and I shouldn't have acted like that in front of everyone, in front of the whole class. The one person that was trying to talk to me throughout this whole part, that, and I shouldn't have acted like that in front of them, even though they had my best intentions. I just, so there you go. That's the thing. So and interesting. Hirata's story is can I say, like he has definitely, which makes sense. I was going to say, like, he has been extremely um what is that word, he has been extremely affected, yeah, affected by that whole thing that happened. Like, and it makes sense, obviously, like like he was in a situation where he was seeing this bullying happening, like, every single day, and he decided to be the bystander. And then when even if he had the opportunity to do something, he never did anything. And then when he jumped, he feels bad now. He blames himself. He's like, yeah, like I could have done something, but now this is happening. And it didn't end there. What made him despise the whole thing situation even more is seeing the bullies just switch people. That made him even more pissed off at that whole situation. And like, and his inability, his helplessness turned into rage, where he was like, what the hell are these people? So he decided to be the bully, so that like this doesn't continue, which brought another problem where everyone just stopped smiling, and it made like the whole class just completely, like, yeah. And here's the thing, this is one thing that I don't understand. Like, from the looks of it, as he explained the whole situation, he also said something like bystanders started joining into the whole bullying. So, like, just think about it like this. There were a few bullies and a few people who joined in and started bullying some people. There were a few bystanders, definitely, who didn't really, like, try to do anything, was neutral, because they didn't want to be the target, and this continued day after day. So just think about what the class consisted of. The class consisted of, number one, the bullies, number two, the bystanders who became bullies, number three, the bystanders, and number four, the victim, and him. He was also a bystander. So these are the four type of categories of students that class consisted. Now, what I don't understand is when he says that I became the bully and I started dishing out justice, and started punishing people like they, like the bullies were doing. Like, yeah, the bullying stopped, but people stopped smiling. Now, what I don't understand is the whole situation in the class from the beginning was screwed up. I doubt anyone smiled before Hirata took action. Before Hirata took action, like I said, these are the categories of people that existed. The bullies, the people who like joined in, the victim, and the bystanders. I'm pretty sure none of them smiled then as well. In that type of situation, in a class like that, do you think anyone smiles? So I don't understand, like, in the situation didn't really change. It literally was the same. So I don't understand why Hirata was so, like, and here's the thing, I doubt, and Hirata himself said that if someone went against what I thought was correct, I punished them. I doubt, anyone. Okay, you know what, I'm just going to read that part because he explains it. I don't understand one thing, is that whatever the class's situation was before, I'm pretty sure it didn't become worse than that. It probably stayed the same way. So why is Hirata being remorseful of the situation? Because what he did in a way was kind of good, wasn't it? Like, the bullying stopped, and if someone tries to act smart, he'll like, like, as he said, I'll punish them. Okay, here's the part. Okay, I employed violence. Here we go. That's literally the same thing that the bullies did. So this is what happened. Again, they just changed bullies. But this time, Hirata didn't like what do bullies do? They attack people, they harm people who are literally minding their own business. That's what they do. At least when Hirata became the bully, I doubt he did that, at least. He's only going to employ violence on people who try to act smart or who try to do something wrong. So they deserve what they're going to get. And the people who are just normal people who just minding their own business, they'll be fine because they're just there. So isn't the situation better than what it was before? When the bullies were. This is what I, like what I'm trying to say here. Okay, no one was willing to hit me back. Here we go. I created a hierarchy where me on top and everyone else was at the bottom. Yeah. If any conflict came up, here we go, I dished out the same punishment and pain to both the sides. Oh, I think this is what he says, both the sides. Wait, so did he like attack the victims as well? Wait, what? Okay, let me know. Is that what he means by this statement? If any conflict came up, I dished out the same punishment and pain to both. Oh no, conflict. Not he's not talking about bullying. He's talking about conflict. So if two like people are like fighting or doing something in conflict, he literally punished them both. That's what he did. Okay, and so he literally like anyone like makes some kind of a problem, he just goes and like hits them or something like that. He probably did that, But then again, like I said, the situation, I think it became better. Before the bullies were just attacking people who were literally minding their own business. At least that's not happening now. Even though the situation is still the same. So okay, I think I destroyed the entire class here as a result. Here's the thing, the class was destroyed from the beginning. Any type of class where this is what happens, where someone bullies someone and they literally jump, and then those bullies just change targets, that class is screwed up, from the beginning. It's broken from the beginning, it's destroyed from the beginning. So when he says this statement, I think I destroyed the entire class here as a result, I don't think anything extra happened. He just, like I said, it just changed bullies. At least Hirata was someone who didn't hit others indiscriminately, unlike the other bullies that they were doing. So the situation became better in my opinion. Let me know, maybe I'm not understanding something here, because I don't understand what he like. The students stopped smiling and conducted themselves like robots. This statement again, when the bullies were bullying, I don't think anyone was smiling. Even the bystanders, I doubt they were smiling. So it's literally the same, isn't it? But I guess one thing, it's probably bothering him since he was the one doing it. Maybe that guilt bothered him, and that's why he. They conducted themselves like robots. There you go. And that's why you didn't. Alright, okay, there you go. So yeah, like I understand everything, but I don't understand Hirata's like way of looking at the situation, at least here. Like the situation, the class was already screwed up from the beginning. So he says that me doing this destroyed the class, but I'm pretty sure the class was destroyed from the beginning. Like I said, any class where a bully bullies someone so much that they literally have to jump, and the bully just changed targets even after that happened, that class is, there's no salvation for people in that class. Like the victims, obviously they'll get like bullied every single day. The bystanders will keep fearing the whole situation, and the bullies will keep bullying. So it is screwed up from the beginning. So what Hirata did, I doubt it wasn't the situation. It was what it was. It literally remained the same. At least it became a bit better in my opinion. So yeah, like let me know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something here. Or maybe the anime is just skipping stuff. That's why, like I cannot understand something. Because there's a lot of things I remember in the previous episodes that I never understood the reason. And like, then people explained to me that, oh, this has been skipped from the anime. And I'm like, oh my god. So that's why literally the anime didn't make any sense. Like why this was happening. There's been so many instances like that. Like I try to understand something. I'm like, why is this happening? And then, like people tell me about what was skipped in the light novels. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's why that was happening. So maybe this is also something like that, or maybe not, just, like, yeah. Either way, it's not really a big deal, but, like, it's a very small detail, but yeah. Either way, that was the whole thing. And yeah, that was a very interesting, like, conversation that Ayanokoji had with Hirata. And after, Ayanokoji said this, and after Ayanokoji's like, you know what, do your best. So here's the summary of what Ayanokoji said. He said, do your best. If you want to save someone, try to save someone. Do your best. Do everything you can. If you cannot do anything, just back out. If someone else wants to take over for you, where you weren't able to do anything, let them do it. If they're able to successfully do it, whichever way they do it, they were able to do it at least. You weren't able to do anything in that situation, so you don't try to you don't lash out at that person. Like situation with Horikita, he tried to save Yamauchi, he couldn't do it. Horikita took the opportunity, and she did something in her own way, and he lashed out at Horikita, even though he himself wasn't able to do anything. That is wrong, And yeah, so that is why do everything. If you fail, it's fine, and he's like, but that's a lot of burden, and that's why Anakuji is like, yeah, it's a lot of burden, but if you do it like this, you'll realize that a lot of people are following you, and when you have trouble with something and you want to talk about your problems to someone, talk to them, the people who are following you. Don't try to act like try to keep your own problems to yourself or not share them with anyone. Don't do that. Share them. Up until now he never shared anything with anyone. He was that one person, that robotic persona that he had, where he was always like trying to keep everyone safe and sound, happy, and content. He was like that one person. Whatever he was struggling with, he never shared it with anyone. That's why this happened. He just completely went out of control here. So yeah, and even when people were trying to come and help him, for example, me, she was like, literally for 3 episodes, she's been like, Hirata-kun, come on, speak to me. And he's literally like, I don't want to speak to you. Who are you? What do you know about me? This and that. Don't do that. There's people following you. You literally had one person following you the whole time, and you just shoved her aside. So tell them, talk about your problems to them, and yeah, share the burden with them. That is how you do it. And yeah, and there you go. And he understood in the end. He was like, yeah, you know what? That is true. And here's another thing. I feel like the situation with Hirata is a salvageable situation, because Hirata himself knew that he was doing something wrong. This is like situations where the person that are doing something wrong, when they themselves don't understand that they're doing something wrong, or they don't try to accept that they're doing something wrong, that type of a situation is a problematic situation. They never learn, they're unsalvageable. However, for Hirata, he was struggling because he knew that he was at the wrong here. So that is why Anakoji was able to make him understand and was able to salvage the situation, and he himself accepted it. That is why. And that is why you can see Hirata at the final part of this episode, he was able to apologize. He was able to ask for apology to everyone, and he was like, yeah, I was at the wrong. That is why. At least he was someone who accepts his own faults, and understands that, oh, maybe I am the problem here. If you're able to think like that, then everything is fine. Even if you do something wrong, if you know that, oh, I'm the one who's doing something wrong, and if you accept it, then it's fine. You still have a chance to bounce back up. Just apologize to the other person that, oh, I was wrong here, and yeah, there you go. And yeah, that's what happened in the end, which was good. And in this type of situation, obviously this whole show is called the classroom of the elite. Every single person here in this class has a role to play, and Hirata is probably one of the more talented people. He's probably at the top of the for example, Anakuji is at the at the pinnacle, and then it's probably Koenji or someone. Then it's Horikita or something. This whole thing, Hirata's probably at the top. Maybe top 5 or top 10 or something. So someone like him, if we lost him, it would have been a problem. So the fact that he was able to bounce back up and accept his fault, it's a great help, and now he can help us out with the whole exam as well, and hopefully in the future as well. Okay, so yeah, that was the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this episode, and there you go. And also the first part, obviously the whole thing with Koenji and Hirata. I feel like Koenji deliberately did that because he wanted to kind of I don't know, maybe he was just Koenji being Koenji. Maybe I'm trying to find a deeper meaning to why he did that. Maybe he just did it because he felt like it, because this is Koenji we're talking about. But I don't know, maybe there's a small little chance that he did that because he I don't know, maybe he wanted to show Hirata that he was at the wrong, and something like that, or I don't know, like make him understand that, yeah, like make himself realize his own problem. Maybe that's what he was doing. But then again, like I said, this is Koenji we're talking about. Maybe he just did it because he wanted to. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Um, right, but that like situation when Ainokoji was saw that situation, Ainokoji knew this is the perfect time for me to go and talk to him, because at that point, like when Koenji did that whole thing, like almost twisted and broke his arm, Hirata was too tired to fight back, and that's why Ainokoji is like, yeah, this is the time maybe I might be able to talk to him, because if otherwise, if it was some other time he went to talk to Hirata would have probably just not listened to him and just left. But here, now that he is just completely tired from physically and mentally, that is why Ainokoji came here, and he knew that now he won't really run away because he doesn't have that mentality. He's just tired, and that's why he, you saw that part where he was just sitting down in the bench, and he's like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm too tired to to fight back. Like, I don't have the energy to run anymore. There you go. Yeah, Ainokoji was waiting for this, because if he really was, if that whole incident with Koenji didn't happen, if Ainokoji came and tried to talk to him, he probably would have been like, I don't want to talk to you, leave me alone, and just left. But since he's like just tired, like physically, mentally, Ainokoji's like, all right, time for me to go and speak to him, because at least now he'll listen to me. Right, and there you go. And then there was the whole thing with Katsuragi as well, that whole part where Yukimura tried to bring in Katsuragi to our cause, but he was like, right, like I'll at least tell you, give you a little hint, and that's all he did. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and the final section, the whole Ruin thing, like that guy is not going to be the leader. Ruin is the leader now, and he doesn't have a protection point. So if he goes, he goes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was today's episode. Like I said, good episode. We got to know more about Hirata, and at least Hirata now is going to cooperate, and he's back to the older, the older Hirata again. Not back to the older Hirata again. That's wrong to say. He's even better than the way he was before. His situation, all the problems that he had in his heart, it has been cleansed out at least a little bit. And after the whole conversation with Ainokoji, so he's better than before now. He's at his best now, at least. Okay, now that was today's episode. Now let me talk about this episode scene by scene. In the beginning part, you can see Hirata is just thinking about the whole situation back, and he's thinking like, oh, I couldn't do anything this time as well. And then we move on to the whole Yukimura and Ainokoji and Horikita, that whole thing where Yukimura's like, oh, I have a plan, maybe we can bring Katsuragi in. Now I was actually against this whole thing, because even though Katsuragi had his grievances with Sakayanagi, and the fact that Sakayanagi expelled his friend, even though all of that stuff is there, I was thinking that Katsuragi is going to be like, no, I cannot betray my class, just because of that, just because of my personal grudge, I cannot do this to my class. That is why I thought that is why he was going to not accept it. But turns out, in the end, I wasn't really expecting this. I'll talk about it later. Let me just go scene by scene, like I said. When that part comes, I'm going to talk about it. So here, Ainokoji and Horikita talks to Yukimura. Horikita's like, no, I don't really see a proper way to do this, because first of all, we have to save that amount of points to bring him back if if something happens to him. Now, if you want to transfer him to our class, not only that. We don't have the time to, or we don't really have the proper, this is going to happen in the future, so we don't even know if we'll be able to do this. We'll be able to gather that amount of point, and something that's going to happen in the future, anything can happen. So for something like that, I cannot take a risk now. That's what Horikita was trying to say here. So Horikita's like, no, this is, I don't want to. If you have a better idea, let me know. So he leaves. At which Yukimura's like, Anakoji, come with me, and he brought Katsuragi here outside. And at first, Katsuragi is like, immediately he's like, no, I refuse. Now, like I said, I here thought that he refused here because even though he has his problems with Sakanagi and the way he does his stuff, it is still the class as a whole. I thought that he would find it, like against his morals to betray his whole class, even though he has his own grievances against Sakanagi. That's what I thought. But what he says is kind of interesting. First of all, he says that I doubt you guys will be able to bring that much points, gather that much points. That's the first thing that he says. And then he's like, okay, here we go. Okay, she hasn't told anyone her 5 genuine subjects, but if you don't mind guesses, I'll happily give them to you. This is what he says. Now, this part surprised me. Like I said, he is kind of leaking information, even though, as he said, he's just guessing. He says it's just guesses, but he still is leaking information. So, in a way, he is kind of betraying his class in a very minor way. Like I said, I didn't expect that. I didn't think he would do this, at least. But this is Katsuragi. I guess we don't really know much about him. I do know the light novel covers his whole situation even in a bigger detail. I feel like the fact that the anime barely even shows him, and I feel like a lot of people who watches this show don't even know his name. That's probably one of the reasons why maybe I wasn't able to properly gauge what he would say here. I thought he was the type of person who would say like, oh, like even though Sakanagi, I have my problems with him, my morals are going to tell me not to betray my class. I thought that was what he was going to say. But the fact that he says this makes me realize that I don't really know him that much. And I feel like if I have read the light novel, I probably would have gotten a better understanding of his character, because the light novel has a lot of things with him, and I have seen that video where there's a certain video on YouTube which kind of shows which parts were skipped. I remember, in the first season of Classroom of the Elite, a lot of things have been skipped, and one of the things had to do a lot with Katsuragi and his sister or something like that. I do know that. And Anakoji and him had a whole conversation, and they had a whole dealing with each other. I've forgotten the details, but when I watched that video, I remember that came up. So I do know that the light novel goes into so much more detail, and the anime just skipped half of the stuff. So we barely know anything about him. That is why I'm probably not able to properly gauge what he would have said here. But he says something that I wasn't expecting. Either way, he's like, I'm going to give it to you. I'll happily give the information. But you mind it, these are just guesses. And he says that, chess, literature, where's that part? Just English and maths, yeah, all that stuff he says. And he's like, yeah. And he also says that there's a few things that, okay, where's that part? Where he says that it's mental maths or something. Mental maths. The only fields which I can help you are mental maths, jump rope. And Anakoji is like, how can you say that she will choose you? And he's like, because I and another person are the only ones who can do it. So yeah, he's like, I can help you in those if I get the chance. Otherwise, nothing I can do about. So yeah, that's that. After that, Anakoji is called by Horikita, and Horikita brings Anakoji to her room. And Anakoji probably said that I was in the middle of lunch, so Horikita made him food or something. Either way, Horikita's like, okay, so this is what I think about. Okay, he gives him her class's data. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Best RPS, best candidate Ike Kanji. Chance of success 50%. What is RPS? Oh, rock paper scissors, bro. Ike, best candidate for rock paper. Oh lord. Yeah, okay. Chances 50%, obviously. It's rock paper scissors. It won't be more than 50%. Piano best candidate Horikita Suzune, 60% chance. Okay. Tennis best candidate Kushida Kikyo, chances of success 55%. Ping pong best candidate Sudo Takeshi, chance of success 60%. Final exam class A subjects, chance of success with best candidate. Okay. Chess best candidate none, bruh. Chance of success 40%. Well, we have Ayano Koji, but either way. Modern literature test 50 minutes. Rules compete over years worth of subject matter. Captain rules able to answer one question in test taker's stead. Okay. Social studies test 50 minutes. Rules compete over questions based on years worth of geography, history, and civics subject matter. Captain rules be able to answer one question. Okay. Volleyball time limited 3 sets for 10 balls. Rules standard volleyball rules. Captain rules able to swatch out 3 players at a chosen time. Math test 50 minutes. Compete over years worth of subject matter. Captain rules able to answer one question. Okay. English test same thing. Right. So that was what it was written there. So Anakoji says, I want you to do the chess. And Hoikita's like, why? And he's like, because you're the most suitable candidate for me to teach. And he also says that I'll teach you at night, like online, I'll teach you. So there you go. Okay, then after that, the whole thing with Hirata, like Horikita goes and talks to Hirata. Hirata lashes out, leaves, and then Mi goes and tries to talk to him, and he lashes out at Mi as well. And Koenji comes in, mocking him, kind of provoking him. He's like, oh, you're just, like afraid to, no, what does he say? He says something like, you're just lashing out and showing your ugly self to everyone. Which obviously provokes him even more, and then he's like, oh, forget about him, he cannot see himself properly now. He's just going to act like this, and then he kind of says something. There we go. He's broken. Which Hirata just completely flips out, tries to attack him, and he grabs Hirata and he's like, oh, you want to fight? Come on. I'm going to show you how, what to do in this situation. And he almost just injures his arm, but obviously he doesn't do that. And then he's like, all right, you know what? You don't want to talk to her? I'll take her. And he grabs me and tries to just see. And me's like, come on, let me down. And he's like, oh, I cannot do that. Now, obviously, he was trying to do this to provoke him. I could understand that, and he was deliberately doing that, because you can see that he was like staring back multiple times while doing this. He was trying to see his reaction and how he reacts to it. In the end, Hirata is like, whatever, do whatever you want, and he leaves. And Ayanokoji sees that whole thing, and like I said, Ayanokoji was waiting for a situation like this where Hirata would be so tired mentally and physically that he won't run away on leave. So Ayanokoji comes taking this opportunity, and we have that whole conversation. Now, I discussed about that whole conversation. I'm not going to go through that whole thing again. But, long things short, Ayanokoji says that, if you wanted to save Yamauchi, you could have. You see Ichinose's class, how she did it, at which he's like, but the situation with Ichinose's class was so different. She has been, gathering points for so long, this and that. And he's like, yeah, you should have seen that coming from the beginning. And obviously he's like, what are you on about? That is in no way that is possible, this and that. At which Ayanokoji is like, yeah, so if you're not able to do something in that type of situation, just, when Horikita took that opportunity to do something about it, you lashed out at her. Why did you do that? At which Ayanokoji asks him, what is your past? What made you see the world, have a viewpoint like this for the world? What changed you like this? What has happened to you in your past? At which he talks about that whole bullying thing. I discussed about this as well, where he literally became the bigger bully to try to salvage the situation, but it didn't work out. And he's like, and that is why here in this class he tried to take a different approach, but again he's realizing that he's walking the same path again, and he's literally going down, And the situation with this school is a little bit different, because in the previous school he was the big bully, but this is the classroom of the elite. There's a lot of people who are way better than him, physically, mentally, So he cannot be the big bully here, but even though he cannot be that, he that is why he cannot like do much over here, but mentally and physically is still taxing to him, you know so yeah, that's the only difference. The previous class he was the big bully. Here there's a lot of other people who is so much better in him in these type of situations. Either way, when he talks about this whole thing, he's like, I didn't want a repeat of that, at which Ayano is like, from here onwards, just okay, where's that part? No, wait, there was one part that was kind of interesting. Where's that part? I think I forgot to talk about that. Okay, yeah, this part where he says that, oh, Hirata, it was your fault. If you really wanted to save him, you should have done whatever it took to do it. And he's like, but I did everything. I couldn't save him still. Classes B didn't sacrifice anyone. Situation was special. Okay. Issue is your inability to do that. Okay, here we go. He says that is unreasonable. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That's the path you have chosen. You believe that everyone could be saved is a private fantasy of your own making. Yeah. But if you continue to feel that way, when you fail, you need to take on all that blame. That's the dedication to the cause. Okay. I was under the mistaken impression. A shallow, helpless student who boasts about wanting to do the impossible. That's what you are. That is who you are. Okay. He falls down. How long do you want to keep dreaming? Yeah, this whole part. Yeah, so what I forgot to talk about is like this thing that Ayano says is, he says that you have chosen to take this path. Horikita hasn't chosen to take this path, and when you have chosen to take this path of saving everyone, you should be ready to take actions against for that. You should be ready to go through heaven and hell to bring that to fruition. The fact that you didn't do that, you still decided to save everyone, and now when Horikita took her own path, you're blaming her. That is what makes you a person who's literally just lashing out at other people, and you're not really doing anything productive or something that will help that situation. Your words are hollow, literally. So yeah, you shouldn't speak and act like this, even though you're the one who took this path. And yeah, that's what he's saying. He's like, you've chosen this path, so you should commit to it. Horikita never chose that path. That's why she's working on her own way. The fact that you chose this path and you decide you aren't committed enough to to go through heaven and hell, and when someone else is doing it in another way, you're bashing her. That is wrong. That's what he's saying. And yeah, and also another thing, if he really feels this path that he has taken to be so cruel and merciless, then back out. Try not to walk on that same path. Back out, and just remember that yeah, if someone is sacrificed, you cannot do anything about it. But if you decide to walk the path where nobody will be sacrificed, it is a long road, it is a merciless road, but you'll have to commit to it, to do whatever, to and not to lash out when you're not able to do anything and someone else does it in a different way. Not to lash out as well. That's what he's saying. And this kind of reminds me of another show, Fate, especially Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel, where it's like a similar situation where to save someone, to go through a certain path where everyone else was against, the main character had to go through a lot of things. And I think it's literally that. And that main character's main motto was I'm going to save everyone. And it is a very difficult path. So if you are dreaming of such a way where you'll save everyone, you have to commit to it and actually do something. If you're not, you're just someone who lives in a fantasy. That's what Ayano is saying, and I can fully agree to that. And in the end, when Ayano says that, like, just keep doing your thing, like, and just be true to yourself, like, try your best. If nothing, if not doing able to do anything, just move on. Try to be better from the next time. Don't do stuff like this. And he's like, but that's a lot of pressure. And he's like, yeah, and I'm sure if you walk this path, there'll be a lot of people following you. So when you feel the pressure hitting you and crushing you, just rely on them. That's it. And yeah, there you go. And the next day, Hirata goes to class and he apologizes to everyone. First apologizes to me, obviously, then apologizes to the class, then apologizes to Horikita. And there you go. And Horikita's baffled. Horikita's like, the hell is happening? Why is he acting like this suddenly? But either way, she shakes his hand. And I'm pretty sure Horikita kind of realized that Ayano did something, or talked to him or something like that. Okay, so next we see Horikita's playing against Ayano, the chess. And okay, so Ayano says that if I go all out, you cannot beat me ever. And she's like, you're awfully confident. It's not confidence, it's experience. Okay, I need to check this. What I was trying to see is like how much. Okay, win Ayano Kyotaka, win 51, lost 3. Bro. Wait, they've been playing. Okay, that is crazy. They've played 54 matches? Good God. I'm pretty sure it was very quick matches. Like Ayano literally probably swept the floor against her. Just completely like maybe like in 5 minutes he literally checkmated her. That's why they were able to play so many. Either way, next day, okay, the class begins, the special exam begins, and the captains, they're waiting. In the end, we get to see that guy doesn't come. Instead, Ruben comes, and Ruben's like, oh, he's sick, so I've taken his place. And yeah, there you go. And so Sakayanagi and Ayano goes, obviously, to one room. Ichino and Ruben goes to another room. They're going to be battling it out. And yeah, let us see what happens. And also another thing, Ruin doesn't have a protection point, so if he somehow loses, and the whole thing, he'll be out. So Ichinose needs to lose. If you want the whole thing to go without any expulsions, Ichinose needs to lose, because Ichinose has the protection point. She'll be fine. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I doubt they're just going to just expel Ruben like that. It would make no sense. They're doing a whole redemption arc. Not a redemption arc, I guess, but we can see that Ruben, they're little by little bringing Ruben back in the game again. And to do that just to expel him, it would make no sense. So I'm sure Ichinose is probably going to lose, and she'll be fine, and Ruben will stay. But I don't know what's going to happen with Ayano and Sakayanagi. Let's see what happens to that. Either way, that was today's episode. That was my reaction to episode number 10 of Classroom of the Elite Season 3. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Classroom of the Elite. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.